Hello and welcome to the tutorial on Workshop 5. This is going to be a workshop about case control studies. So hopefully you've done the reading and you understand what a case control study is. I'm just going to orient you to the data in this worksheet, and we're going to talk a few minutes about pivot tables again, just to remind you how you could use those to conduct this workshop. So this data set, you can see column A, participant number. This has data on all the participants in the studies, and we had cases and controls. So that, I believe there were 66 participants in the study, and you can see all of the different data about these people: age, sex, education level. We have their village that they lived in. We have the date of onset of symptoms. And as you go down, you can see some of these people the controls did not have symptoms, so they don't have any data here. Whether diarrhea was present or not, whether vomiting was present or not, whether the person was a case or control. So we have our cases and we have our controls. We also have the outcome for the cases. Did they improve? Did they die? And for controls, we don't have an outcome here. And then we have a lot of information about different possible risk factors. History of eating outside of the home the past 5 days. Does household have facility for washing after latrine use? Is there a rack for drying plates in the home, etc.? What did people eat? Did they have a pit latrine in the home? Did they get their water from the lake or the river? And how did they prepare their water? Boiling, not boiling? So we've adapted this data set from a CDC tutorial. I cut out some of the variables just to make it more manageable. But what you're going to do as you go through this workshop is analyze this data and calculate odds ratios. Now, I have an odds ratio calculator over here. So as you get your numbers, you can actually just plug it into here. So say you had 13 cases who were exposed and 14 who were unexposed to whatever the risk factor was, and then in your controls you had 8 that were exposed and uh, 20 that were unexposed. I'm just making these numbers up. There, it automatically calculates your odds ratio, and as you recall from the lectures, odds ratio equals AC over BD. So this is just to make it a little bit more simple for you to go through and calculate odds ratios. You can just plug right in there. It'll calculate it right for you. So let's talk about how you can do some of these calculations pretty quickly. We have already talked about pivot tables. I just want to do a little bit of a review because I think it will make your work a lot quicker if you do it using pivot tables. Now, there's other ways you can do it. So say I was asking you among cases or controls, what numbers of males and females. So here's one thing I can do. I can sort by cases and controls. Sort, it may already be that way, A to Z, so it has cases on top, controls on the bottom. So I did that by clicking on the row and then right-clicking and going to sort. So clicking on the top of the row, right-click, sort, A to Z or Z to A. So now I have it sorted in the order of cases and controls. I also want to sort in terms of gender, so I'm going to right-click here, sort A to Z. I want the females on top. I want to go back and sort cases and controls, sort A to Z. So now I have cases, female, and then male cases, controls, female, male controls. So if I wanted to go through now and count the number of female cases, I could go count and female cases. I'm going to go over to participant number because that's actually a number, so it's helpful for counting. Go down to the end of the females that are still cases, and I have 19. And I could say female case 19, mail case, go into the next one, equals count, parentheses, and that's control, so go back up to case, and I want to count all of my mails, so the top of my mails, 14 mail cases. So you could go through and you're going to have to do a lot of tallies on this, and you can go through and do it that way. Another way you can do it, and I think this is a lot faster, is go insert, pivot table, and just insert a pivot table. And now I want to do gender, males, females. I want to add in case or control, and I'm going to just count the participant. No, that's sum the participant number, but I want to click on that value field settings, count, and all of a sudden I have my female cases, female controls, male cases, male controls. So that's a very quick way to do tallies. Now, so I've done gender already. I want to remove gender, and I want to do village. So I just click on village. See, I just clicked on village, and here you go. Now I have the cases from each village, the controls from each village. So that you can really quickly do these tallies that you're called to do in this workshop. So say I wanted to see how many cases and controls ate cold beans. Click on that. And I've decided I want to put columns for case control. So I have false, true. So false is no cold beans, true is cold beans. And I could even click on this and sort Z to A and have it true, false. This is exposed to cold beans, unexposed. I could switch this, sort Z to A, controls, cases, and whoops, actually I want to put it back the other way. Sort A to Z, cases, controls, exposed, unexposed, and you can see that's exactly how it is here. That makes it pretty quick tally if I wanted to do an odds ratio. And I can remove the cold beans, put in cleanliness around the home, and that one isn't a two-level variable. So how about I look at, does household have a facility for I think it's for washing, and I get something very quick there. So I hope that's helpful. I hope this is something you can use in as you do your tallies in this workshop. But again, if you don't feel comfortable with the pivot tables, you can do the old counting equals count, parentheses, and then count however many you need to count. Now, if I do it right on, say I do it right on the village here, I'm counting all the people in that village, because it's not a numeric variable, it gives me zero. So you're really going to want to count over here on some of the numbers. So hopefully that's helpful. Should be sure to ask lots of questions if you have them. I hope it's helpful to start working with some data as well. All right, have a good time.